The rain in Seattle doesn't wash things clean. It just makes the grime stick harder. It was 7:15 p.m. on a Friday in November. I pulled my truck, a nondescript gray Ford F-150 with a ladder rack, into the driveway of 42 Oakwood Lane. The house was beautiful. It should be. I designed the security schematics myself. It was a modern fortress of glass and cedar, sitting on a hill overlooking the Sound. The windows were glowing with a warm, inviting amber light. I could see shadows moving inside. Shadows that looked like a party. My name is David. To my neighbors, I'm the guy who drives a work truck and wears cargo pants. To my wife, Elena, I am reliable but boring. She tells her friends I'm a senior technician for a security firm. She says it with a little apologetic shrug, as if my honest work is a stain on her reputation as an aspiring interior designer. I turned off the engine. My bones ached. I had spent the last 5 days in Chicago, finalizing a merger that would put my company, Sentinel Systems, on the NASDAQ. But Elena didn't know that. She thought I was fixing wiring in a warehouse in Idaho. I grabbed my duffel bag from the passenger seat. I walked up the slate path, shielding my eyes from the rain. I reached the front door. It was a solid mahogany slab with a reinforced steel core. I slid my key into the deadbolt. It didn't go in. I frowned. I jiggled it. Nothing. The keyway was tight, resistant. I pulled it out and looked at it. It was my key. I looked at the lock. It was shiny. New. Brass instead of the brushed nickel I had installed 2 years ago. A cold feeling, colder than the rain, started at the base of my neck. I tried the handle. Locked. I punched my code into the smart keypad. 4-9-2-1. The keypad flashed red. A harsh, digital buzz rejected me. Access denied. I rang the doorbell. It was a Sentinel Eye Pro model. High-definition video, two-way audio. The blue ring around the doorbell camera spun. Someone was viewing the feed. Hello? I called out. Elena? The code isn't working. Did the battery die? The speaker crackled to life. But it wasn't static. It was music. Jazz. And the sound of a cork popping. The battery is fine, David, Elena's voice came through. It was crisp, digital, and devoid of warmth. The code isn't working because I deleted it. I stared at the camera lens. You deleted it? Elena, it's pouring rain. Open the door. No, she said. I don't think I will. You see, David, I've been doing some thinking while you were away. And I realized something. You don't fit the aesthetic anymore. The aesthetic? I laughed, a confused, wet sound. Elena, I'm your husband. Open the damn door. Not for much longer, she corrected. I filed the papers this morning. Emergency ex parte order. Exclusive possession of the marital residence. It's taped to the garage door if you want to read it in the dark. You changed the locks, I said, my voice dropping. While I was working. I upgraded, she said. And not just the locks. Julian is here. Julian. I knew the name. Julian was her personal branding consultant. A man who wore scarves indoors and drove a leased BMW. Julian is in my house? I asked. It's my house now, David, Elena snapped. The court granted temporary residency. Julian is helping me re-energy the space. We're having a little celebration. A renaming ceremony for the house. We're calling it the Sanctuary. I heard a male voice in the background. Smooth. Arrogant. Babe, who is it? The pizza guy? Elena laughed. Something like that. Just the old maintenance man. Maintenance man. I stood there, water dripping from my nose. The humiliation was physical. It felt like a punch to the gut. I had built this life for her. I had kept my success quiet because she said she liked authenticity, but in reality, she hated that I didn't flash wealth. She hated that I was the millionaire next door who looked like a plumber. Elena, I said, leaning close to the camera. You need to think about this. You are locking me out of my own home. Technically, she said, her voice dripping with smugness. "I hired Sentinel Security to come out this morning. I told them I was the homeowner, and that I had an estranged, unstable husband. They were very helpful. They swapped the entire system. New admin codes. New keys. You are locked out, David. By your own company. Isn't that ironic? Julian feels much safer now," she added. "Goodbye, David. Please don't make a scene. The neighbors are watching." The blue light on the doorbell turned off. The connection was cut. I walked back to my truck. I climbed inside and slammed the door. I looked at the house. It was a smart house. A very smart house. Every light bulb. Every thermostat. Every lock. Everything was connected to the Sentinel hub in the basement server room. Elena was right about one thing. She had called Sentinel Security. But Elena made one critical miscalculation. A mistake so large it was almost tragic. She thought Sentinel Systems was just a service we subscribed to. She didn't know that I didn't just work there. I wrote the code. I built the encryption. And I maintained the skeleton key, a master administrative backdoor hard-coded into the kernel of every system we installed. I reached into the back seat of my truck. I pulled out my laptop case. I opened it. The screen glowed blue. "Okay, Elena," I whispered. "You want to live in a smart house? Let's see how smart it really is." I connected the laptop. I opened the terminal. I typed in the command line, sudo_admin_override. Target, Oakwood_42. Biometric authentication required. I placed my thumb on the scanner. Identity confirmed, David Mercer. Founder/CEO. Clearance level, Omega. Access granted? The dashboard of my house appeared on my screen. I could see the temperature, 72 degrees. I could see the lighting status, romantic. I could see the music playing, jazz. And then, I opened the camera feeds. I saw Elena and Julian moving toward the kitchen. Julian was opening another bottle of wine, my vintage Cabernet. "This place is incredible, babe," Julian was saying. "And you say the ex-husband just handed it over?" "He didn't have a choice," Elena laughed. "He's weak, Julian. He's a worker bee. He doesn't know how to fight for things." "Pathetic," Julian sneered. I watched them on my screen. "Worker bee," I muttered. I hovered my mouse over the lighting controls. I changed the color value to strobe/emergency red. I changed the intensity to 100%. Then I looked at the thermostat. I dragged the slider down. All the way down. Target, 45 degrees. I sat back. "Let's get this party started," I said. I pressed enter. Inside the house, the change was subtle at first. Julian paused mid-sip. "Is it getting cold in here?" Elena rubbed her arms. "A little. The system is probably just adjusting." On my dashboard, the AC units were spooling up to maximum power. The fans were roaring. "I'll check the thermostat," Elena said. She walked to the wall panel. She tapped the screen. "That's weird. The screen is locked. It says, 'System update in progress.'" "Just unplug it," Julian said. "Come here. Forget the cold." He pulled her close. He leaned in to kiss her. That was my cue. I activated the lighting override. Instantly, the warm lights died. Total darkness. Then blinding, hospital white LEDs at 100% brightness. Then red. Deep blood red. Flash. 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 My eyes. Julian yelled. "What is going on? Turn it off, Elena." "I can't," she screamed. "The switches are locked." I moved my mouse to the audio tab. "You like jazz, Julian?" I whispered. "Let's try something a little more industrial." I activated the speakers. I played a recording I had kept from a security test. It was the sound of a dog barking. A massive, angry Rottweiler. Woof. Woof. Grrrr. The sound erupted from the living room speakers. Elena shrieked and jumped into Julian's arms. Julian pushed her aside and grabbed a knife. "There's a dog in here," Julian yelled. "We don't have a dog," Elena cried. "It's the speakers." I watched them cower in the corner of the kitchen. I looked at the tab labeled Smart Locks. I toggled the switch. Status: perimeter sealed. Interior egress disabled. They weren't just locked in. They were trapped. I typed a message into the text-to-speech module. "Julian," I typed. "I think your lease is up." I hit send. The dog barking stopped. The calm, robotic voice of the house assistant echoed through the rooms. "Julian, I think your lease is up." Julian froze. Did the house just say my name?" Elena looked at the camera lens. Her face went pale. "David?" she whispered. I didn't answer. I just cranked the AC down another 5 degrees. The kitchen was now a freezer. I typed a command, enable_motion_tracking_spotlights. Inside the house, beams of harsh white light snapped onto Elena and Julian. Wherever they moved, the lights followed them. "Get it off me!" Julian yelled. "Is he filming us?" "He's a technician," Elena screamed. "He installs alarms. He doesn't know how to do this." "A glitch doesn't say my name, Elena," Julian shouted back. I accessed the media server. I cast our wedding video to the massive TV in the living room. My voice boomed through the house. David, take you, Elena." "Look at him," Julian sneered, pointing at the screen. "Look at that cheap suit. I can't believe you married that." "He built this house," Elena said, her voice small. "He hammered some nails," Julian scoffed. "You said the bank owns it." "Actually," I whispered in the truck. "Sentinel Systems owns it. It's a corporate asset." Julian walked over to the sliding glass door. He pulled the handle. Locked. "Where is the key?" he grunted. "There is no key," Elena yelled. "It's biometric." "Move," Julian shoved her aside. "I'm breaking it. I'm not freezing to death." He picked up a heavy bronze statue. He swung it. Smash. The bronze hit the reinforced glass. It didn't shatter. But the impact was enough. Glass break detected. I pressed the button. The siren exploded. 120 decibels. Julian dropped the statue. He clapped his hands over his ears. "Arg! My ears!" I let it run for 10 seconds. Then I cut it. The silence was painful. "Okay," I said. Phase 2, separation. I typed a command to close the automated fire doors. A solid panel of wood began to slide out to seal the living room off. Julian ran for the gap. He didn't reach for Elena. He ran past her, pushing her backwards so he wouldn't get stuck. They were together in the kitchen now. But Elena had seen it. When the walls closed in, Julian didn't try to save her. He trampled her. I picked up the microphone. "Julian," my voice boomed. "That was very rude." "Pushing a lady?" Elena looked up at the ceiling speaker. "David?" she sobbed. "David, please. I'm cold. I'm sorry. Just let us out." "I can't do that, Elena," I said calmly. "The system is in lockdown mode. It detects an intruder. Specifically, him." "I didn't push her," Julian yelled. I tripped. "Open the door, you creep." I opened the dialer interface on my laptop. I patched the system directly into the local 911 dispatch board. I typed in the code, hostage_situation_silent_duress. I hit send. Dispatch acknowledged. ETA 4 minutes. "David," Elena yelled. "What do you want?" "It's not about what I want, Elena," I said. "It's about security. You compromised the perimeter. Stop playing games, David." "Julian is leaving." "Right, Julian?" "Yeah," Julian nodded frantically. "I'm leaving. Just open the door and I'm gone." "You can't have her." Elena froze. "Excuse me?" Julian looked at the camera. "Look, man, bro to bro." She played us both. Just let me go. You coward, Elena whispered. You told me you loved me. In a freezer? Julian shouted back. No thanks. And then I saw the lights. Blue and red flashing lights. The police were here. I picked up my handheld radio. Attention occupants, I announced. Law enforcement has arrived. Please remain calm. Julian ran to the window. Cops. Thank God. Help. We're being held hostage. He banged on the glass. The police saw a man screaming inside a house that had flagged a hostage situation. To them, Julian wasn't a victim. He was the perp. Exit the residence with your hands up. An officer shouted. I unlocked the front door remotely. The door is open, I whispered. Run, Julian. Julian scrambled out. He ran onto the porch. He's crazy. He hacked the house. Get on the ground. 3 officers screamed. An officer tackled him. Julian hit the mud hard. Elena walked out slowly behind him. She was shivering. Ma'am? An officer approached her. Are you hurt? Is the intruder still inside? No, Elena said. There is no intruder. It's my husband. He's there. She pointed at my truck parked in the shadows. He did this. Arrest him. He hacked my house. The officers turned their lights toward me. Driver. Step out of the vehicle. I stepped out. I walked toward the light. Officer, I said calmly. My name is David Mercer. I am the owner of this property. And I believe I can explain. Elena smirked. She thought I was going to jail. Mr. Mercer? The sergeant asked. From Sentinel? Yes, Sergeant. We installed the systems at your precinct. This lady says she lives here, the sergeant said. She has a temporary order for a marital residence, I said. But this property is commercially zoned. It is owned by Sentinel Systems LLC. I am the CEO. These 2 individuals bypassed the commercial security lock and attempted to damage proprietary hardware. I pointed at the bronze statue inside. That's attempted industrial sabotage. And trespassing. Elena's jaw dropped. That's a lie. It's our house. The company pays the mortgage, Elena, I said. It's a tax write-off. I told you that 3 years ago. The sergeant looked at the paperwork. Ma'am, if this is commercial property, your domestic order is invalid. It has a pool. Elena shrieked. It has an executive sleeping quarter, I corrected. For late-night coding sessions. Mr. Mercer, do you want to press charges? The sergeant asked. I looked at Julian, face down in the mud. For him? Yes. Trespassing. And for her? I looked at my wife. No, I said. I don't want to press charges against her. I just want her removed from the premises. Immediately. She is an unauthorized visitor. Understood, the sergeant said. Ma'am, you need to leave. But where will I go? Elena cried. You can call the office on Monday, I said. I got into my truck. I didn't look back. 3 days later, the conference room at Sentinel Systems was quiet. Elena sat opposite me. Next to her was a cheap lawyer. My client is entitled to half the value of the business, her lawyer argued. My lead counsel, Rebecca, leaned forward. Elena signed a prenuptial agreement 5 years ago. I signed it because you said it was to protect your debt. Elena cried. I did have loans, I said. But the agreement stated that what is mine is mine. The company went public last week, Elena. The valuation was $400 million. Elena gasped. $400 million? Yes, I said. And because of that paper you signed, you don't get a penny. David, she whispered. We can fix this. I didn't know. I didn't hide it, I said. I just didn't flash it. You wanted the aesthetic, Elena. I wanted the reality. We offered her $20,000 to disappear. She took it. It was the only safety net she had left. 1 year later, the cabin sat at the end of a gravel road in Montana. No security gate. No cameras. No smart thermostat. I sat on the porch. I had sold Sentinel systems. I was done writing code. I read the paper. Julian had lost his license. Elena was answering phones at a design firm, living in a studio apartment. I looked at my front door. It had a simple, iron deadbolt. One key. I reached into my pocket and felt the cold metal. It felt heavy. It felt real. Elena wanted a smart house. She didn't realize that the more connected you are, the easier you are to hack. I took a sip of my coffee. I didn't need a password to enter my home. I was David. I was free. And for the first time in a long time, the door was open.